film because it really focuses on the Ben Jones at this very moment in most volatile time of the history. This film focuses on his period in London art scene, how he's connecting, relating to artists of African diaspora, and I think it's really remarkable that he's able to basically connect with anybody, anywhere in the world.
Myself and Ben met when he did a show in London, maybe 2 to 3 years ago. And the one in that gallery is in Brixton, South London. And it has a history, post-war migration for people from the Caribbean and Africa. It marries well with the work and some of the social themes that he was actually putting together in that particular show. I approached him and said, look, this is a doc. We need to take this further. And it grew, and we ended up in Cuba. We have a wrong perspective of Cuba. For me, all of the propaganda, and that's all it is. With resistance to imperialism, you can still survive. You can still be true to who you are. And I found that in Cuba. I found that in everybody, from the child to the old person, that spirit of independence and resistance, despite the blockade stuff. And that's humbling. I hope to go back this year. It has to be screened there because half of it's in Cuba. Half of it's shot there, so we have to do, screens. I've got to do a translation of it. No, it's amazing to look at an alternative reality to the farce that we live in. And I call it a farce because these days now, we're in a very strange place. The world's in a very strange place.
This film represents a beautiful collaboration between the two of you. But I want to talk a little bit about the process. And please give me the good, the bad, and the ugly. What was an unexpected turn throughout this filming? And how did it change possibly the outcomes of the film? Really have this really kumbaya love moment, but we know about process.
To make a film, I think it's a journey. And I think we saw that within the film where we started in the UK, and then we started to look at some of the other artists there and some of the similar issues as far as art and work and the importance of their work and what they're trying to say. But then the film kind of evolved more. I felt in doing the interviews with a lot of the interviewees and the contributors, a main part of Ben's life was Cuba. And if you know Ben, put your hands up who's spoken about Cuba. Ooh, look at this. How many people have gone to Cuba with Ben? I felt then, no, we need to go there. And I discussed it with Ben. I said, Ben, look, I know we want to finish the film. Right? It's not finished yet. I said, no, I know we want to finish the film. We're going to get it right. But I think the essence of this, we need to go to Cuba. And then there was a silence. He said, I agree with you, yeah. And I think that was the turning point when I went to Cuba. It actually changed the film. I had to go back to the drawing board, going back to the edit suite and start to rethink it. How does this story, this journey take us through Cuba? Because the same elements are there about revolutionary change, art, and creativity. In going there and seeing with very, very little what people achieve, with very, very little how people are generous, with very, very little how people have resistance. I was humbling, and I think we can all learn from that, especially in these times now, and I keep going back to it. Pay close attention. There's a blockade not allowing anything to go in or out of Cuba, and people are still resisting and surviving. That should give us hope in ourselves and what we can do here in the West.
When they talk about Cuba, all they talk about is communism and dictatorship and all this other stuff. It's a communist government. It's controlled by the communist government. But that's not all that country is. But at the same time, in that communist government, education is completely free from daycare to your doctorate degree. Will you ever get it in the richest country in the world right here? All right? So they need to tell you something. Of course, health care is free. culture, their level of culture embarrasses this place here. So I tell people, yes, I've been there 118 times, but you need to go there and see for yourself. I just got back from Cuba last week. Everybody comes up to me, are you all right? I say to myself, the propaganda they got here worked. In Cuba, do you have people complaining? Understandably, because you have blackouts, you can't get transportation, you have children dying because they can't get medicine to treat their cancer. They've been under 65 years of the most brutal blockade in the world. How do you expect them to be doing? I think people know the problem, but that's not the issue. What are you doing about the problem is the issue.
Absolutely.
Let's call it for what it is. You have a fascist person for the president of this country. The bottom line of what we want to do, we want to put out the message. And the message is, what are you doing to get ready to make a change? And the change is not for us, it's for our children. I love this word, activist, because it means that you're working for something. And it's not about you're working for it because you want to see it in your time. I'll be 85 in May. I'm not expecting to see it in my time, but I'm gonna still work for it.
You touched on key things that Ben has explained, shared with my family, neighbors and friends. He always said, keep close, dig deeper. Our neighbors even went to Cuba.
It was a very good picture. Very, very informational. My question is to Ben. I see in your artwork you have a lot of cowrie shells and a lot of fish. What do they mean to you?
The cowrie shell in African tradition represents its spirituality, divinity. And the fish in the Bible always represents life. Life, spiritually, physically, life. That's why I love my building so much, because there's so many children, but that's symbolizing life.
I did see a lot of things in the film that helped me to understand the heart of my Uncle Ben. Having the ability to travel with him to Cuba on several different occasions, I was able to witness the family connection that he's created in Cuba, and that means that he's doing what he's destined to do in life. He spreads love everywhere he goes, and it's never about ego, it's always about love.
Out of all the films I've seen on Ben, this one by far has been the best. I really enjoyed it. I just appreciate what he does for me, what he does for everybody, how he helps and looks out for everybody. It's not just here in America, it's for the world. The bigger picture, that's what it's all about, the bigger picture.
What I just learned today is just how much the country means to him and how it's been just so influential in his life and how the people over there are our family. If I were to focus on 3 things that Uncle Ben taught me, to put in the work, you have to be disciplined. Stretch yourself outside your comfort zone. I was very shy, still shy today, but he made me push beyond those fears, be conscious, but also not only be conscious, but also take action as well.
I was moved by the fact that for him, it is the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that anti-colonial struggles, no matter where they take place, are interconnected. I was moved to see how well received his art and activism has been in the UK. And of course, his connection with Cuba, which to me is a complex connection and at the same time a very moving connection. The famous anecdote is Churchill says, everybody at 20 is a socialist. After 40, people start slowly to become conservative. Well, I would say it's the opposite with Ben. He has really maintained a very justice-centered view of politics. And I think it's a justice-centered view of politics that's also very grounded in spirituality, because it's not just some kind of simple Marxist materialist understanding of reality.
Ooh, one word to describe Ben, undescribable.
Soul,
Conscious.
affectionate.
Excellence.
He's the man.
Perpetual movement. And not just movement for the sake of movement, but perpetual movement in the sense of constantly pursuing something. Whether it's the art, or the activism, or the fusion of both in artivism.
My legacy is to just try to stand for something that the young people, that they can see there's a chance for them in the future. And this is why we have to change what we have now.